So I'm going to show you another form of dowsing where you're actually just using your body. And this is very important to do. I know people who have been sick who have made themselves well because they learned this one little thing about dowsing. If you go in a grocery store and you hold what you want in your hands and you ask, is this good for me? You see my body moving forward slightly? I've had people say, oh, you have to do that again, I lost my balance. Well, actually, all I said was hold this and say, is this good for me? And you can visibly, is this good for me? There will be fruit that will tell you no. There will be different foods that, like vegetables and things like that, that will tell you whether you should eat it or not. So start listening to our body instead of a lot of the information that's out there. Our bodies are a big chemistry set, and every individual body is different. So it's important to realize that just because somebody says something is good, it does not mean that it's good for you. You know the saying, ask and you shall receive. Is this orange good for me? Okay, I get a little bit of movement there. Is this orange good for me? Now, and you don't have to take it out of the bag, but this, I just want to show you what this is. This is bread. Is this bread good for me? Is this bread good for me? Okay, so I'm getting no on this. So this is something that I should not be eating. Now, knowing that, and yes, I have had bread on occasion. Just because you know that it's not good for you, doesn't mean that you're not still going to eat it from time to time. This is a slow process of training your body and your mind to do what you want. Your body is craving something, and because you have not developed your mind to be the observer of your mind, then you're not stronger than your physical wants, your physical needs. They're not needs, they're wants. So you end up eating that. The other thing to remember is, just because you eat it, you should not feel guilty about it. This is a long process. You have been eating what you wanted unconsciously your whole life. And now all of a sudden, you think that you should not have it anymore. That doesn't mean that your emotions are going to just go away just because you think that you shouldn't eat that anymore. So it's a process. It's a long, can be a long, drawn-out process. I think it was Tony Robbins that said, it only takes a moment to change your mind. It's the 2 years of frustration getting there that makes the difference. And as you switch to raw fruits and vegetables, you'll have difficulty eating this. It will affect you physically. And if you could have felt that when you was a child, when you were little, if you could have felt what that was doing to your body, you never would have had it in the first place. But you get accustomed to it. It's like people that smoke cigarettes. You know, they hack, they gag, they get dizzy, they have all these emotional things, but they force themselves through it, and then they get addicted to it. Food is no different. So we have to learn to control our thoughts and our physical wants. Once that happens, then we're free of all those emotional ties and those cravings. So this is a great way to do it. You just hold it and you say, is this good for me? Is this good for me? And it will pull you towards it. A lot of people that I know that do this, when they go in a grocery store, their body will physically pull them to something that they need that day or at that time. and it will physically push them away because they're so in tune to what their body needs. It will physically push them away from what the body does not want you to eat. So this is a great test. It is a form of dowsing. It's one that very few people know about. But until the time comes that you're ready to do this, a lot of people won't think this will work, but it works great. And you're outside, because you can dowse anything. This isn't just for water. You can dowse your health aura. You can dowse, just like I said, are bananas good for me? Yes, they are. And they are good for you.
So I hope you found this technique helpful. I hope you embrace it and use it. As you do, you will find it easier and easier to get an answer for what you are looking for when you ask, is this good for me? And a lot of times what will happen is it will tell you no, when other times it will tell you yes. And maybe it's because you have just eaten something and it doesn't want you to mix those two together. So remember that your body always knows what it needs. Our mind always knows what it wants. And those little critters in there, all those little parasites that are in there that are sending chemicals to the brain, and it tells you that you want something, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you need it. So if you do happen to try this amazing technique, please make a video response or leave a comment below so others can see what your experience was using this dowsing technique while you are actually holding your food. Now later on, as you get used to this, you won't have to hold the food anymore. You just look at it across the room and you can ask, and you will get a response. That has happened to many people. If you're in the supermarket and you don't want to hold it up and ask, just take your hand and put it out and put it on the particular fruit or vegetable at the time and ask. And if it pulls you forward, it means that you can have it. If it pushes you backwards, it means that you should wait. So I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you next time right here on The Body Electric.